this thing here, my recipe name. Then these are the ingredients, and we have the direction here. So what I'm going to do, in order not to waste our time, I'll just select a few of them. I think I have a lot of them that are for breakfast here. So I'll just select for breakfast. I'll leave the introduction and the conclusion there. So I'll just select a few recipe from what we have here. So it's your choice to make sure you have a lot of recipes in your book. So but for the sake of this explanation, I think I've been able to show you how to write introduction, then how to write the major recipes from breakfast, lunch and dinner. So from this first, let's start with what we have here now. You can see the recipe name, the ingredients and the directions. So sometimes the AI might generate some responses in some ways that you don't really it's not exactly how you want it. You just take your time and include it. So let's assume from what we have here now, I can just write ingredients before what is here, and this one I will leave another space. So I can choose to add a colon in front, or I can ignore them and bold. I'll bolden it so that people will know that what is here is like highlighted. So I think I've been able to fine-tune the recipe list now, and then what I have here is the recipe title. So what I do now is every for us to be able to generate our table of contents, we have to make sure that maybe we have title and subtitle, or we have heading 1 and heading 2. So you can see here I have my heading 1 here, I have my heading 2 here. So if you go to your Microsoft, this particular place here, let me click on this. So this particular one, I would like to put it as my heading 1, Introduction to Renner Diet Cookbook. Then before I have my recipe names, I will add maybe in capital letter recipes. I will have something like this here, which I will put as my heading 1. So this particular one should also at least be in capital letter, uppercase. So, and maybe you can see this font is Calibri body also. I can decide to change the font. Ctrl A, select all. I'll come here and change it to maybe Book Antiqua. This is just like the standard when it comes to writing books. So I'll click on Book Antiqua. I'll come to my spacing here. This is where you have your spacing. You can use 1.15, you can use 1.5. So just take note that the more the spacing, the bigger your book, but 2.0 will be way off, so you don't need that. So you can just go to 1.5 here, and don't forget you need to justify so that the edges of your book will be as straight as what you have here. So you can see that I'm still highlighting the whole text. So by the time I click justify, you can see that everything is now well aligned. So I'll click out. You can see that my book is getting more organized now. And then what do I do next? I come here, select heading 1. By the time I select heading 1, you can see this is looking bolder. Introduction. Let me put to here instead of on. Just take note that you have to understand some English as well. You can't just write English that is not appropriate, and you expect maybe people from the US and everything to overlook them. So I've clicked on heading 1 here, but before I could get heading 1, I have to set what is here. I have to give it some settings. So I'll right click and then click modify. So for heading 1, you can see we have heading 1 here and every other thing is there. So my formatting here, this is where you select the fonts that you want to use. So I decided to choose Tahoma just so that I can have another font for my headings. So I just select everything I selected earlier. My font size 15, so that's why it's a bit bigger, and the bold have, so you can look at what is here. You can see as we are clicking on it, the changes is appearing here. So if I click bold, it will make it bolder, and I can now you can see now that it's at the center here. If I click on this list, this heading will come to these edges, but I clicked on center so that it will be at the center, and then this particular one I clicked on it once. So if you want to reduce the space, you click on it back. So but just click on this once. You can this is the setting I already made before, so just make sure you click on this once and then look at the spacing. It is looking too big now, so if I return it, this is how it should be on a normal day, but I decided to click on it once so that there can be more spacing here. And then I'll come to formats, then I'll go to fonts. So what do I need to check here? Maybe I want it to be all caps or small caps or whichever one. So I usually use all caps. I always use all caps. So it has already been checked here. So I'll just click OK. So that's the other reason why you have to come here. Then so that you won't be repeating these settings all the time, you make sure you click on here, you click on this, make sure it's checked, and this one automatically updates. So it's only this one that you not click new documents based on this. Okay, yes, instead of only in this document, click on new documents based on this template. So you can choose to explore all this and see whichever one you can make changes. You can change the font name, you can change font size, you can do everything. So you just click OK. So we have heading 1 set here, so that any text that I come to click, this is just a normal text, but I'll make sure I click on it, then I'll click on heading 1. So it just automatically bring the settings here. So for heading 2, this is where I use heading 2 for the recipe name. So if I click on heading 2 now, you will discover that there are some changes that have been made. The thing it got bigger, bolder as well, but not as big as this because I set this to 14. So you can right click on this and you click on modify. You will discover that it's virtually the same setting except for the fact that this one is pushed to the left. That's why you are seeing it here like this. And then this particular one, I think I already clicked it once, so I don't need to click it more than once. And then this one, we should be here. The fonts is already in all caps, just as I said. So this one will be, you click on this, automatically update, and this, you click OK. So by the time you are done with all this, you have so I left the space between recipe and the main recipe names here. So after doing that, I'll come to this place, I'll highlight what is here, I'll select these bullets here. By the time I select bullets, you can see it has already given it some bullets. And then if I select this and select number, you can see even though everything is on the same paragraph, But let's take for instance, you want to separate them into new paragraphs. You can see here, that is giving it numbers automatically, and maybe this. You can see now that we already have them here. So if I come to this one again, I'll just make sure I'll just click here, come to heading 2. Then what next? Ingredients. So if you are lazy, you can decide to come to the next one, copy, Ctrl C, and paste here, and just paste. Just make sure that it's neat. So you can do that continuously, or you can do it beforehand. For in this case, so I can choose to do it for a few number of items here. So let me just do this for breakfast, so that you can see how to do it. So this one I'll just highlight on it, just the same way I did earlier. I'll click on the bullets. Then okay, I forgot to add directions. So directions is also there in this place. So I forgot to copy it as well. So I'll highlight on it. So then I can also select on this and come to here. This one is numbering instead of bullets, so that you can maybe click on the next this thing, look for this other one. So in some cases the directions is not even going to need you to start splitting it into smaller units. I think we have something similar to that downward. So this one I'll click on heading 2. I already copied ingredients here, so I'll do this here now. I'll go to this place, I'll click enter. So I can also come here and copy my directions instead of typing it all over. So you can, okay, so you can just use the keyboard shortcut. Ctrl C is for copy. Okay, copy is here already. You can click on it as well. So you click on copy and Ctrl V, you paste. So you can see if I select what you have here, or let me say I already put this in the next paragraph. By the time I select everything and come here, you can see it already gave it number 1 and number 2. So that's how you continue with all your recipes. You continue like that till you are done with breakfast. You go to your lunch, you continue like that, and you go to dinner, you continue like that, and then you get to the bottom of the page where you have your conclusion. So this is our conclusion now. This is where we have conclusion, and from here, I told you conclusion I will also use heading 1. I will only use heading 1 in just 3 places. So I'll use heading 1 here. So you can see it's already showing it here now. Heading 1 for this, heading 1 for this, heading 1 for this. So probably because before it's not in capital letter, but of course it's already indented it as heading 1. This is heading 1, this is heading 1. So I can just use it at uppercase so that it will look neater here as well. So I already have maybe 4 recipes here that I've edited already, and which is enough for now. So you can just follow through the same process for every of your recipes. So I will now come back here. I'll make sure I leave enough space. I'll shift this to the next paragraph.